can do with it. A poultice of oregano, which just means a paste. Anytime you see the word poultice, it just means take some of the herb, either fresh or dried, and make a paste out of it. There are a lot of ways of doing that. You can either, the simplest way is just stick a few leaves in your mouth, chew it up a little bit until the juice starts running out of the leaves a little bit, and then just take that kind of a wad of chewed leaf and slap it on whatever part that you're trying to heal. That's the simplest poultice. You can also powder an herb and mix it with a little water. You can put it fresh in the blender with some water or some vinegar, or it just depends on what aim you have and what's available, what forms of the herb and other things are available, and what you're trying to do with it. But it just means a paste of the herb. And it's good for rheumatism and painful swellings and sprains, things that just traumatic injuries. Put a paste of it on and allow it to soak into the skin, and that will bring healing in a lot of different ways. Oregano is a pretty warm herb, so if it feels like it's getting a little uncomfortably hot, you can always remove the poultice for a little bit, maybe do some hot and cold applications on the area, and after a little bit put the poultice back on. That way, if you're a little sensitive to the heat or the warmth of it, you don't have to overwhelm yourself all at once. You can do it on and off. But it can feel really comforting, very warm and soothing. And it's also good for felons, which is another word for an abscess on the fingertip, boils, and carbuncles, which are large boils. And you find a lot of these interesting old words, Old English and Middle English words in herbology. And the reason is that a lot of the greatest herb books ever written are 100 or 150 or 200 years old or more. And by the way, I want to say this. The reason that, or one thing I know about modern medicine is that it's all wrong. And that is an opinion, but it's more than an opinion, because if you look at the publications of all the medical schools, all these textbooks that they give out to their students every semester, they change every single semester. They have to throw out all the old books and get entirely new books. Why? Because the old ones are found to be wrong. The new research that they're doing shows that, well, what we thought was true wasn't really true, and now we know a little more, and we can give a more accurate picture. And that more accurate picture will be replaced next year by an even more accurate picture, and it will be considered outdated. And actually, a lot of these, if you go back a few years, there are things that are now considered very dangerous that they used to recommend. And so they're always changing. And why are they always changing? Because, well, for lack of a more poetic way of putting it, they're always wrong. And so they always have to change. And herbology is very different. We're constantly finding out more about herbs and how they work, and yet what was true of oregano 500 or 1,000 years ago is still true of it today. The plant doesn't change, and for the most part its uses don't change either. Even though we might come up with some additional uses, all the old uses are still valid. And what used to be dangerous is still dangerous. What used to be safe is still safe. So we don't have to throw out our textbooks every 6 months and get all new ones, because our system, first of all, is a lot older, and second, is based on things like herbal medicines, herbal plants, that agree with the human body and work with it in a synergistic way. And we're not trying to control the body like they do in medicine. We're just giving it something that it needs and allowing it to do the healing job. And things get pretty simple when all you do is pay the workmen well and count on them to do an expert job. And that's what we're doing in natural healing. We just pay the workman by giving the body what it needs, and then it takes it from there. So we don't have to be manipulative or control or precisely balance one hormone level and another electrolyte and control what this gene is doing in that organ. And we don't have to have all this in our hands manipulating and controlling it, because the body is programmed to do that in the best way. And if we just let it do what it's designed to do, what it's programmed to do, then it'll do the best job. So that's what we do with natural healing. And because we're not trying to be manipulators, we're just giving the body what it wants and the resources that it needs to heal, then we don't have to figure out everything before we can use it like they do in medicine.